Hey everybody! Oh, it's actually not quite 9 o'clock, but we want to be early.
That's
So
good.
you like early? You like early.
I like early.
I typically don't. Oh, we still got to turn the lights on. Now we on.
Oh, that's good.
It's live.
I like my hair color with the light on better.
Yeah, lights, action. Camera, lights, action.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
it is now 8:59. Getting ready for 9 o'clock. Get started. Hey, we got one person. Hey, whoever you are, just jumped on, and hopefully, oh yeah. Sure. One thing. Hold on. Whoever's on, Cheryl told me. All right, that means that. Hey, hello everybody.
Hi.
How you doing? Welcome. We've got a number of people, and we wanted to make sure the connection was going strong.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock. Let's get going. Let's get growing. Let's get going. Hey, everybody. Oh, I got to get my book. I was reading my book.
No.
I got something to read in the book. Go ahead. All right. Get started. You can tell the story. We're talking about
How to communicate more effectively.
how to communicate more effectively.
Extreme patience is a good thing.
Is that a good thing?
That's a good thing. And not say everything that's on your mind.
Amen.
Keep your mouth closed. That's the behavior teachers use when it's like there's too much going.
Look,
That's a good
folks,
thing.
welcome.
Okay.
And welcome to Happily Married Monday Night with the Jolleys. And we are so grateful for all of you who have been telling other people and who responded to our emails asking for your questions and for your comments and for your input and your insights about how this is helping, having an impact, hopefully,
And how we manage it.
and how we handle it. So, grateful. Look.
Being married and working together.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just
So we've been talking about communication. We got a lot of questions this week, and we want to talk to about a couple of them.
And specifically, the topic this evening is how to reduce tension in your
Yes.
communication.
So I'm gonna read a little something here that I thought was profound. It is about the more you communicate, the better you'll be at it. Willie and I have worked hard over the years on our communication skills. Well, we've learned that one partner need not dominate the conversation in order for both parties to express themselves. Some individuals tend to be more talkative
That's Willie.
and outgoing
That's an understatement.
than others, but that doesn't mean the quieter partner is shut out. An example of this tactic was pointed out to us after Willie and I had lunch with a young couple to share our marriage secrets with them. What they found most helpful was how Willie and I, this is from Dee's perspective, stopped talking when the other one had something to say. So we'd be talking, I'd be talking, and she would.
He's doing most of the talking.
But when I was talking, you would
And
tap.
I would interject.
You would tap me on my hand or something. And
I would touch him.
Or touch me and interject.
And that would be his symbol to say,
Stop.
okay, Dee has something important to say.
Right, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would get on to interject, and Willie would stop. Then other times, Willie would interject, and I would stop talking. I just do like that. We never talked over each other or tried to have the last word. We worked together and communicated like a tag team. The other couple said if they tried to do this, there would be World War III due to talking over each other. We shared that we learned to be a yin and yang for communication, like one person with two mouths, interjecting as the spirit gives utterance. That skill takes time, patience, and understanding of one's spouse, but it is possible and quite beautiful to experience.
I think it takes time and patience because you want to learn how to do it.
Right. If you ever seen some of our interviews, people have mentioned that in the interviews that we kind of interject or kind of what look like butting into each other's conversation.
So I think, I do it right. I think it has to be mutual respect.
It does have to be mutual. So we want to talk about the respect issue because a lot of the questions we're getting in have to do with respecting each other's space, respecting each other's personhood, and how do you become a more effective couple in that respect. And space is something we really want you to understand because everybody needs space.
But we're not
I know,
We're
but
not
I
doing
just.
space today,
I know, all right,
sweetheart.
but
we
I
can't do no.
I can't do everything.
No,
Okay, why don't you do
we're
what?
focused on.
I got a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about.
No,
But we're going to
we
talk
only
about your
have time
questions,
for
but let's deal with.
specifically how to reduce tension in your communication.
Well, part of that is space. That's why I wanted to go talk about
No, but
space.
no,
We'll do that
that's
next
not
time.
What we plan. Yes, that's for next week,
All
sweetheart.
right.
Let us focus on use your words to make your relationships better.
Okay.
And we're going to share strategies on how to do that. And one thing, mutual respect, and we just had a disagreement right there.
Yeah,
you
we
want to
did.
go into space stuff, talk about it.
I want to talk.
That's
You see,
not
I
what
backed
we-
off. See, somebody learn these cues, how you see us do it, and you'll see. I backed off. She said no.
But what did I say? I said no, sweetheart. Didn't I say that?
You said it nicely.
I learned how to say no, sweetheart. No, we focus. We agree. We were going to focus. Let's come back to the goal that we said that we were going to focus on for this evening.
All right,
okay?
all right. Let's start with.
So let's
Start
deal
with a
with.
story.
Let's start with a story. Let's start with a situation that occurred when we were on our way to Greensboro, North Carolina for a program. And our personality is very different. Willie, Mr. Extrovert, and me, Miss Introvert. Introvert simply means that I process information very differently, and I'm mulling over things that tend to be quiet, and I don't have to speak everything that I'm thinking. And I like to be early.
Early. And
He
I
likes
don't.
to be late, and there's tension even as a result of that.
So here's what happened.
Here's the short story.
We got to go to Greensboro, North Carolina. We got a 6:00 flight out of Reagan National Airport. About 3:00 in the afternoon, Dee starts coming and saying, "Don't you think we should be on our way to the airport?" I said, "Way too early. Way too early."
I didn't say, let's go to the airport. That's not how to handle him.
All right, so 3:30. Don't you think we should be leaving? Nah.
And I say, honey, don't you think it's time that we go to the airport? Because I
Nah.
talked to him in a very
3:30.
different fashion.
I mean, we gotta be there. We gotta be an hour in advance.
So I don't start hollering and screaming. I'm like, okay, honey, it's
3:30. 4:00.
short on time.
I said we leave around 4:30. We good. We get there by 5. Well,
He doesn't allow for traffic.
I made a mistake. All right. Anyway, we left at 4:30 in the midst of Friday afternoon traffic in Washington D.C. Yes, we missed the flight, and I then am standing at the counter.
We are standing at the counter.
We're standing at the counter. She says nothing.
And I don't say anything
Because
for
I'm
several
working.
reasons.
Because I'm working. I'm
Because
talking.
there's no need to say anything because he already knows he's messed up.
Right.
I am pissed off because if he had listened to me in the very beginning, we wouldn't have missed a flight. But there's no point in saying that because he's already trying to work out the fact that we've got to get on a flight somewhere because he has a program that next morning. So, and I don't want to make a scene because he's already in the midst of telling his story and trying to get.
I'm already
A change
hyped up.
in
I'm
flight.
amped up. Okay.
So I already know that I need to back off. I don't need to add to that. I don't need to add fuel to the fire that he has created because he's late.
Right. So finally, the lady says, "You missed that flight. There are no more flights, direct flights to Greensboro tonight. The only thing we could possibly do is get you on a flight to Philadelphia where you have a 3-hour layover, and then you get a flight from Philadelphia to Greensboro. You might get there at 2 a.m. Now, we would have been there at 8, had a reasonable night, had a dinner, but we take the Philadelphia layover. And I say, I mess up. I'm sorry. But she didn't have to say a word. But you know what? That's what made this not become World War III, because she didn't say a word. And she didn't say, "I told you so."
I could have said that, but it wouldn't. It
I
would
would-
have made me feel better, at least initially. You see, you should pay attention to me and everything that I say.
I already
But
knew.
it didn't. It would not have done any good for the long-term well-being of our relationship because he already knew.
I already knew.
So by being quiet, what I did was to say, okay, you made it. I expect you to fix it.
Right. Which I had to fix as best
And
I
he
could.
fixed it.
I fixed it. But here's what she didn't say: "I told you so," and she didn't throw fuel on the fire, and she didn't belittle me.
Oh, no.
Okay, folks. So these are things that are critical, and we moved on from there. And I can tell that story now, and I can man up and say I messed up,
And we can laugh about it.
and we can laugh about it, and we can take an earlier departure from here on out. Sometimes.
That was a major lesson learned.
Sometimes. We're better. I'm better. I'm better. I'm better.
He's a bit better, but he never wants to get there as early as I want to get there. So it's a kind of a compromise.
Yes.
It really is a compromise.
It is a compromise.
Because I don't want to run
Through the airport.
and bang on the door because they closed the door. The last person getting on the flight. So, no.
So communication. This is how we communicate to each other. You've seen it. She and I communicate like this because we respect each other. And then when one of us messes up, the other one doesn't belittle them. Well, they know they messed up. Don't belittle them. Don't make them feel.
It doesn't
worse.
help
It
the
doesn't help.
relationship, and it doesn't create an environment where you feel comfortable saying, I messed up.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, forgive me. Okay, I'll listen to you next time.
That's right.
It doesn't create that kind of environment where you can do that if you now have to be defensive because the person is saying, I told you so. You should have listened to me.
Right.
Hey, no, you did not marry a stupid person. If you did, that's a reflection on you and not on the person you married.
Right.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Okay. Let's not go down that
Okay.
hole right now.
Okay. So then I thought of, so how would you define, we say that often, we talk about sweet talk.
Sweet talk.
So what did we say, what is sweet talk? And I defined it as non-confrontational words, the tone of voice, and even your open body language that says to your spouse, I'm paying attention to you, and that I respect what you're doing and what you have to say.
Yes.
Non-confrontational.
Non-confrontational.
And sometimes that can be hard when you're like, are you crazy? Why'd you do that? But you can't.
So
There's no win.
In that. So we say something, Dee does something very well. She thinks about what she's going to say before she says it to me. And vice versa. I think about what I'm going to say before I say anything to her. You don't just let it fly. You know, a lot of folks, I'm just going to let it fly.
Off the top of your
let
head.
it fly. That's not a good choice. How's that working for you? You know, let me ask you that. How's that been working for you? That ain't been working good. So stop doing it, okay? Stop it. Just stop it. Think about what you're going to say and figure out how you can caress that conversation. Because sometimes people just need you to be caressing, be caring. Just let them know. They might have done something that's not really good or stupid. Don't have to beat them up with it. They already know.
I think sometimes it's a challenge to mull over the right words to say, to mull over what to say so that it's not offensive.
So you put some good notes here.
Okay, so let me say this
alright.
one thing so it's not offensive. And I find for me that if I work out every day, that I have more control over managing my thoughts and what I need to say and what I need to do. Because oftentimes I have to do and say a lot that I don't feel like doing. But because I have disciplined myself with my thinking and with my actions, it's kind of like the endorphins kick in. I work out in the morning and it helps me be calm. So a lot of things that would normally tick me off, piss me off, I said, oh, okay, I can handle it. And you even notice.
Oh, you need to go to yoga.
You didn't go to yoga today.
You
You're a
go to
little
yoga.
testy.
Little testy, little
And I
testy.
said, okay, all right.
But I make
sorry.
that clear
Yeah.
to her. I say, you know what, you're a little testy.
Yeah.
But I know that it's not personal. And that's the thing I think people have to understand. You know, one thing I read somewhere in a paper the other day, someone years ago it was a archival story about a congressman who killed somebody
Oh my God.
because he didn't get served his food correctly. He was angry. And there's this new concept they call hungry. Hungry makes you angry. And it happens. People have different moods when they're hungry or when they're tired. I don't let it when I know that she hasn't worked out. I let it fall off the back, but she might.
And so I have a routine
Snip a
to
little
manage
bit.
that very early in the morning.
I
Very
let
early.
it go.
Yes.
And she knows that if I'm hungry, I'm a little more
He's
testy.
a little testy. And testy meaning he's shorter.
Shorter.
So I've studied my spouse, so I know the kinds of things that puts him on edge.
Right.
And I know that comes 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, I don't really care about what I'm eating, but it's important to him. So I make sure that I've got something, that there's some food, there's a salad, there's something that it will take the edge off, because
Right.
he gets hungry.
And that gives you a little short. So let's look at these.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, so here's some
quickly,
things that might look like
what might
sweet talk.
look
Or the
like?
whole concept. And
Okay.
sometimes you don't say anything, but it's
Or so a visual. So if your spouse or significant other comes in and you are texting or something and they start talking, then put down the cell phone
put it down.
and look at them.
Okay. I'm giving you my attention. That's important. Just the little things. Okay.
Nodding, not to say, okay, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm hearing you.
Right.
Just to simply nod and say, okay, I get what you're saying. And not using words that put people's ideas down. Like, that was certainly a ridiculous thing that you just said.
Oh, that looked terrible. They're doing their best. You can't do that. You
say,
know.
oh, okay. Let's talk about that.
I mean, sometimes.
But sometimes I think people say things to hurt people's feelings. It does not bode well for their relationship.
No, it does not. It does not.
Because it doesn't build trust.
That's right. And it makes you angry, and it makes you hurt, and it makes you disappointed. So, why sweet talk?
Okay, so why are we sweet talking?
Mm-hmm.
I said to keep the lines of communication open so that you know what the other person is thinking.
Right.
If you're combative, I don't want to talk to you.
Right. Right. Nobody wants to combat or have that drama.
It's
Nobody.
the fight. And fighting also raises your blood pressure.
Yes, it does.
Puts frowns lines in your face, and I don't need to get any older, any faster than I'm already getting older. Okay, helps you get or stay in the right frame of mind so that you can be pleasant. You can just get so much more done when you're pleasant to each other and you're willing to share information with each other.
Yeah.
If you're pleasant and you want to be around each other. And it forces you to find something pleasant to say. That's why sweet talk. It forces you to find something pleasant to say so that you don't have to howl and scream.
Right. And we stopped hollering and screaming years ago.
We did after the Chinese food.
After
situation.
Chinese food.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stopped that. If you
Yes.
haven't, if you don't know about that, you haven't read the book. So chapter 4, you can get that free. No, chapter 6, whatever it is, you get it free. That chapter. Okay.
Now, how to sweet talk? How you gonna sweet talk somebody?
I think part of the sweet talking is, as we've said already, is thinking in advance about what you want to say. If you have a problem, if you have a hurt, if you have a issue, rather than just shooting from the hip, think about it.
It's a delayed response, really.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying what's on your mind right then, because you're really thinking at hundreds of words a minute, and you speak at like 130 words a minute, so you've got time between all the stuff going on in your head and what's coming out of your mouth to think and mull over, how am I going to say this? And like they say, women talk more than men.
Usually.
Except in our case.
In our case, that ain't to happen. I talk a whole lot more.
No. But it gives me an opportunity.
And lessons to your son.
And it gives me an opportunity while I'm thinking of which words that will have the biggest impact.
Let me
That's
share that
what
with
I'm
y'all.
thinking.
This is funny. This is funny. My son comes home and says, "Dad, people say to me at college and law school, man, your dad's Willie Jolley. He must be around the house motivating you all the time, talking you up and talking you down and talking all the time." He said, "Actually, Dad is pretty quiet around the house. It's Mom who does all the talking to me. She will talk him up one side and down the other side." I just sit there. So it's true. Well, you ask William. Y'all ask William. Anyway, let's answer a couple questions.
Okay.
All right. So we had
So
some very interesting questions.
Okay, why don't you read?
I'll start with this question. We've spent years gradually perfecting the art of blaming, stonewalling, stamp collecting, and waiting for the other to read and then respond to nonverbal behavior. We've learned to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We know we can't change the past, but we're struggling with putting the past behind us so that positive communication can help us. What are some quick wins we can achieve to get us motivated? I thought about this one, and one of the things I thought about was this, is that we've all made mistakes in our relationships, in our marriages, and those tendencies of stonewalling and stamp collecting. And for those who haven't read the book, stamp collecting is you're not talking about when you have a hurt or a problem.
When it happens.
Not when it happens. You just store it up, and then you stamp collect, like estimates green stamps until you can't take no more. The book is full and you explode. So we say that it's critical that we've made a point and made some systems. There's some systems, some principles. As soon as one of us got a hurt feeling, we say, "You hurt my feelings."
We say it then, but we had to get to the point. It was hard to initially, because it's going to take you some time if you're not used to saying that. That hurt my feelings.
That hurt
Say
feelings.
it right then.
Say it right then.
And then what happens over time, like if he says something, I was like, that hurt my feelings because I'm sorry. I'm like, no, don't apologize because I want to talk about it. But that kind of developed a sense of humor.
We made a sense of humor. But if she said it hurt my feelings, and I said, I already know the answer why I did it. I said, I apologize. Mm-hmm. Let's get that over with. And so that's one part of it. Second part of it is this: why
do you apologize?
Well, for a number of reasons. One is if I know that it hurt your feelings, I want to fix that because
you love me.
I love you. Okay. You're my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's second. Second is because I already know that if I don't apologize quickly, it lingers. It's like a sting when you get stung with a bee sting. It hurts until you take the stinger out. And the bee is gone, but until you remove that stinger, it still hurts. Take the stinger out.
So you're emotionally traumatized still?
Yeah. So I say I apologize. And then we might talk about it, and we say, okay, we'll fix that for future. For future reference, it won't happen again. Now, the second thing is this. Sometimes when people read the book, we say, be friendly, be frank, be fair, be focused on a positive result. They think in being frank that they just tell what they think at that moment, rather than saying.
Or sometimes they tell what they think with the intent of hurting the other person's feeling and making the excuse that I'm being frank.
But bottom line is, here's what we want you to do. We want you to be frank and say, here's how that made me feel. When you did this, or you said this, or this happened, here's how it made me feel. I'm frank. I'm telling you the truth. Here's how it made me feel. Let me tell you something, folks. No one can question your feelings.
Yes.
And if they do, you say, you know what? Basketball rules. Basketball rules when you're on a basketball court and somebody calls foul. On the street, urban, no referees around, no umpires around. And somebody says, foul, you fouled me. Everybody who's playing the game, whether they agree or not, they accept the call because they know that's the way that we handle it on a basketball court.
Those are the rules of the game.
Rules of the game. That you call foul, you respect the call. And so if she were to say, you hurt my feelings, or this made me feel, this is how it made me feel, I can't say you don't feel like that. I would say, I'm sorry you feel that way. I apologize.
All right, so how do we get to that?
All right, so how do you get to the question? They want to know, what are some quick wins we can achieve to get us motivated? Here's something I thought about. I want you two to do, whoever you are. I'm not calling the names. I want y'all to go for a walk and hold hands.
What does that do?
I want you to hold hands. I want you to go for a walk and hold hands. Now you say, what does that do? Exactly. Because when you hold hands, you're not just holding hands, you're holding hearts. And you're having a connection. It's like a jump start. When you go out to the car, you have to take the negative terminal and the positive terminal and actually touch that battery that's dead with something that's positive, jump start it. And it starts. Hold hands. Just take a walk, hold hands, and just talk. Remember that there was something that drew you to each other at the start. There was something about each other that drew you to it. And ask yourself, let me ask you, what was one thing I did, or what was one thing about me that attracted you to me in the first place, that drew me? And you should
walk and talk about that.
Talk about that and hold hands when you do. And jumpstart that relationship.
If you just did
and then go home and have sex. All right,
you see where his mind is.
All right.
Okay. So, back to your question.
Yeah. That was one.
What's the answer again?
Hold hands.
Find something complimentary to
Complimentary,
say.
say about each other. One thing you found about each other that drew you to each other, and then
Take a walk and hold hands and talk about that as a way to just jump start. And don't say anything negative.
Nothing negative. Just okay. Here's another question. About they said this was right on time. My wife and I are entering our 5th day of being childish of not speaking to one another. We've been together for 2 years and know the importance of good communication. We know the importance, but we lack the ability to aggressively step up to the plate. And it's so bad that saying hi and bye are even out. My question has 2 parts. Is it always on the man to reconnect? And if so, how do you do that when you're on the other side? When you're on the other side of this, I'm not quite sure what it mean by the other side of this. Maybe mean when you didn't create this or whatever. But let me start with the first part because that deals with the second part. No, it's not always on the man to always have to do the work to reconnect. It's about saying to the other party, this is how that made me feel. Just telling them how you feel. Here's where the problem is for men. They often won't say, this is how you made me feel. They feel like it's not being man.
It's not manly.
I'm not being manly to say you hurt my feeling. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. And I feel bad.
But what if the mate says, okay, you hurt.
Okay, but here's how you made me feel. They could say that, but you've at least been friendly. You're not hollering. You're frank. This is how it made me feel. You're fair. Why did you do that? Or why did you say that? That's the next question. Why? Get a motive for why they did it. Was it to be hurtful? Was it because they just weren't thoughtful? And then finally, be focused on a positive result. What's the end? Look, in your relationship, there are three parts to that relationship. It's her part, my part, and our part as a relationship. The relationship has a part. Which is going to win? Which is the most important? The relationship.
You know what I think? I will interject here and say from different couples that we've talked to, sometimes people have different agendas.
Yes, they do.
So if you're not talking, being pleasant to each other to kind of draw out, why are you in this relationship? I'm here because of I love you. Sometimes the mate is not in the relationship for the same purpose. So the communication gets that out on the table. So how do you work through and get mutual goals if you're not sure that you both are in it for the same reasons?
Right.
Am I making sense here?
Yeah. So a couple
that
things.
That can be a challenge.
All right. So a couple things we want to do because our time is almost up. Is one, I want to answer the rest of that question from this gentleman. One is it on the man to reconnect? Always on the man? No, it's on both parties, but the man has to be willing to say, here's how you made me feel. And then y'all have to have conversations. Second.
Both need to be willing to talk.
And that's, again, going back to why y'all in this marriage? You got into marriage for some reason. Reconnect on one thing that...
Discuss what brought you together.
Or
remember something
positive
that brought you together.
And then say, what's more important? My way, your way, or a relationship? What's more important here? And let's have a conversation about it. And if the relationship is more important, let's fix this problem. Because this is just one problem. If you've just been married 2 years, you just getting started. You can't get past this little problem. Look here. And again, when the people get their thoughts sticking their sticks in the ground and this is my way, well, how's that working for you? How's that working?
It's not working for the relationship.
It's not working for you either.
Which makes me think, did you come with different agendas? And you really need to discuss that.
All right, so we want you, again, read the books. We have said, and if you don't have the program we did that we have available for people, the longer program where they actually can listen to some of the more in-depth questions where we go through the 10 principles, what's that site that Cheryl gave us for that people can order that product?
I don't know.
It's Jolley Marriage webinar. That's it. JolleyMarriage.com/webinar. Get that webinar. Order that webinar. I think it's $20. I don't know what it is. I think it's $20. Get that. It's a longer play program
That covers the 10 points.
Covers the point and questions. It's interactive, and we had people asking questions. And we're going to do another one of those webinars for people. You'll get an email if you're on our list, so that you can then ask questions in real time, and we can answer them in real time. But to get started there, look, what's it worth to you? A divorce lawyer. What did our friend who was going through a divorce say?
10,000, at least somewhere in there, depending upon where
this
you
is
live.
a lot cheaper than a divorce lawyer. Get the materials, take time, go for the walk.
It's
hold
better for
hands.
your health too.
It's so much better for your health. So much better for your health. Better for every part of your life, particularly your sex life. Oh, wait, why do I keep going back to that? All right. Look, we want to thank y'all for joining us. We want to thank you for telling people about this, that we're doing this, and that it's free. It's Monday nights, as often as we can do it. All you have to do is be on our list. We'll send out a tweet or something about it. We want you to have a successful, loving, happy marriage. Our goal is to save 1 million marriages with this book and enhance 1 million more. That's
Can I
our goal.
suggest what we're going to talk about next week? Maybe touch base?
No. Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Because you already brought it up earlier.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So next week we're going to focus on how to manage your personal space when you feel the need for time alone from your spouse. How do we manage that since I'm with you at least 20 hours out of the day? That's interesting.
Because you just love me. All right, look. We want to thank y'all. Our time is up. Thank you for yours. If you don't have the book, go get jollymarriage.com. Get 2 copies. Read it together. Even if you're struggling together, read it together. One gentleman did send an email, said, I bought the books, I read my part, my wife wouldn't read hers, and now we're talking about divorce. He said it's too late for even a seminar. I said, no, it's not. Our other friends, they were on their way to divorce court. They called and said, we're on our way to divorce court. I said, read the book. Read the book. Just read the book. That's all I asked to do. It'll save you a lot of money, even if you're wrong. What you got to lose? I sold them on reading the book. That was about 6 weeks ago. They were here in the area last week, said, we are celebrating our anniversary. We are having a ball.
15 years, I think.
15 years. Thank you. I'm encouraging you, give it a try.
Don't give
Trust
up.
the process. Do not give up. It's worth it. You've invested this time and energy, these years in this relationship, and the best is yet to come.
I like that.
All right.
Jolly out.
Jolly out. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.